Joan, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us today. This is such an important topic, and there's so much fear around it. So I can't wait to dive in and help guests realize how they can start to embrace AI as part of our future and how to, I love in your book, bring them joy and maybe even some more money. We're all interested in that, both of those things. So, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me, Angela. Delighted to be here.
Yeah. So you've been through not just one, but two layoffs in the AI space. And so many of our listeners are fearing AI, especially in our economy today. So, can you take us back to those moments when what shifted with you that led you to starting Clarity AI and writing your AI roadmap, which is such an exciting book?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, if I can take people back, um, I got one of the, I mean, it's more and more common these days, right? We
Yeah.
talk about these layoffs, but the Joan, we don't have money to pay you anymore. My boss honestly was so sad the first time it happened. The company wasn't doing well. These hype cycles that we're experiencing of,
Mhm.
wow, all the contracts, all the things. Uh-oh, we maybe were hired. And, it wasn't a surprise, but it still was painful and it felt so personal, right?
Mhm.
Getting that call, even though it was nicely done, 30% of the company was laid off in a day.
Wow.
So even though I personally experienced it, right, my finance, I experienced it, like, regrouping. I think we've all fallen off a horse before,
Hmm.
proverbially,
Right.
and get back up. Um, but I started, that was just one, and you're right, I've been laid off twice. I talk about it just like here in Seattle, it's more and more common. It's
Yeah.
like, you see it in the day, like Microsoft, Meta, like all these companies, there's so many, but I've continued on my career. Happy to talk more about that too.
Yeah.
People in my DMs being like, how did you do it? Or like, I see you continuing. Like there's these, I talk about kind of a job versus a career arc. And
Hmm.
continue to follow my career as I've gotten bigger on socials and those like DMs of how did you do it? Or like advice, like
Hmm.
I can't take meetings with everybody off the internet.
Yeah.
Um, so the accumulation of that and like sharing the knowledge of things I wish I'd known even 2 years ago,
Hmm.
packaged into a book. And then it's also a companion to my podcast, not as cool as this podcast, but I launched a podcast called Your AI Roadmap, kind of packaging up modern career and technical stuff. Because I
Hmm.
work in AI and people, all this like hype, blah, blah. And I was like, they would not be talking like this if they're actually building. It is so much harder to actually do the building. So
Mm.
I bring on my friends and colleagues from big companies, startups amongst, and then talk about the projects they're actually doing. So
Hmm.
the Joan hits AI and career and money real talk and just kind of giving back to the person who, if any of these topics resonate, I've been living them.
Yeah.
So that's what Your A Roadmap, the book is all the career money stuff packaged together.
I think it's just so critical for right now, like we were talking before we hit record. So, yeah, talk to it. That would probably be really helpful. Just give us an idea of what your journey's been like to writing AI. But even though you worked in the tech industry, yeah, so much of what you've written about, I think, is applicable to anybody in any career or any job.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean modern careers having to, getting that cool job, right? Or something you love, and then things don't go the way you want, I think is
Right.
a many people could resonate with. And so I looked at like what my own career, how I, made it happen across the way, but also research, but very data-driven person and working in data
Mm.
and product. And so the two big things around future-proofing a career or thinking about
Mhm.
career in a broader sense in an AI world is looking at your network and your
Yeah.
personal branding. And
Mhm.
usually I say these things and people go, no, these, these nuts and bolts are data driven. Like it is wild that after COVID layoffs, 73% of people, according to LinkedIn data, landed their next job based on an introduction. It's
Hmm.
who they knew, right? The Angela in their life, Joe knowing the right thing. Hey, you'd be
Mhm.
perfect for. You went to that event, right? You
Mhm.
follow up, your network being your net worth.
Hmm.
So in my book, I talk about I'm an extrovert, so I do realize it's not fair. But for the introverts in my life or people struggling, or you feel like you're the only in a room for whatever, if you're a mom, if you're a person of color, disability, whatever it is, how do you network in your own way that feels
Hmm.
authentic to you? Is something that I recommend to anybody. And then your personal brand of if people type your name in, or can they find you easily?
Hmm.
I say for usually for people, I've talked to women way more senior than me, and they're like, personal brand, don't make me do that. Like, I don't want to invest in that. And I feel like for people my age or younger, it's no longer optional. How do people find you on socials? What is your professional, whatever your domain is, right? If
Hmm.
you work in the cosmetic industry, if you work in HR, like, I don't care. How do people know you in your field? What do they know
Hmm.
you for, regardless of which company you work at? So that like network and that personal brand flywheel,
Hmm.
based on the data, I think will keep you employed as
Yeah.
long as you have a job for a lot longer than other folks using that flywheel.
Hmm. Yeah, and that kind of lends to this idea of just constantly thinking about the next step. I mean, you want to enjoy the position of where you're at now, but just realizing you're constantly in that networking building phase, right?
Mhm. Well, it doesn't end. I think people think like, oh, I just
Right.
network to land the job. But like when I was closing my first seven-figure deal and I was at that table, right? They wanted to sign it with me. I also knew I was out of my depth. So reaching out to my mentors, reaching out to people in my network to any advice would be really pertinent now. Like, can you help me on these different parts of my journey? And we give back and forth. There's this
Hmm.
innate karma in those
Hmm.
people that are professionally around me. I just literally got a text from one yesterday. Hey, Joan, I need this on Monday. Is there any chance you'd be willing to? Right. So if you want to continue to build those true relationships, it's not a sleazy things. Like I truly am there from the people in my life and vice.
Yeah.
So that networking or whatever word you want to put on it, that collective. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I feel like networking. My mom's like, ugh, does that mean I have to wear a suit?
Well, I think too, as you're talking about it too, I think that there is like this common idea of like it's not authentic. But
Mm,
I don't find that. Especially, I think if you approach it authentically and really want to truly help others as much as you would like to, I don't know, in the future have somebody to network with yourself. I think that makes such a difference, don't you?
oh, it's totally different. And I think the approach is different. Like it's not a
Right.
chat. Like every person at the event is a dollar sign. It's like
Right.
the quality of, can I meet a friend, a professional friend who we can help each other? Make
Mhm.
those intros back and forth. I just say it feels completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the intentions with which you approach networking, it really can set the tone and take the ick out of it. If you're
Definitely.
listening and going, oh no.
Well, it's a muscle. I mean, assuming the first time is going to feel easy. No, you
Hmm.
gotta you gotta build it up. You gotta follow up via LinkedIn, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like it's just another skill set in your arsenal.
Yes. Yes. And like you said before, you have to find what works for you and your personality. So great, great tips. So I know let's talk a little more about AI because it's something that's such at the forefront of all of our minds right now. In that, yeah, I think we're getting a lot wrong about AI, especially as women and moms. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I love that you started off this podcast with fear, because usually that's something I have to be like, hey, acknowledge the fear.
Right.
Right? Like 50% of US adults are experiencing layoff anxiety, quote
Right.
unquote, according to Harvard
Yeah.
Business Review. So if you're experiencing that, and that's a relatively older study these days, if you're experiencing that, welcome to the club. Like most people are feeling this fear. So I think
Hmm.
acknowledging the fear, AI is changing things, right?
Hmm.
Traditional jobs, quote unquote, this like 9 to 5 that came after World War II. Like it was never designed for women, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned.
Yeah.
Um, and so the change in the market may feel scary right now, but I feel like what we're getting wrong is, why do I need to be at a computer for
Mm.
60 hours a week? Here in Seattle, there's no 40-hour jobs that I, it's truly or at least in my industry in tech, it's a 60-hour work week grind. And
Mm-hmm.
so I see that as a positive that we're in transition from
Mm-hmm.
that careers may look different. I have a portfolio career, but like that traditional 9 to 5, I believe, is really being disrupted. And that
Right.
can feel scary. But is there something better that we can go to? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that work and our lives could look different. And I
Mm-hmm.
see that transformation, as long as you are in the driver's seat, you've got the agency,
Mm-hmm.
can be really powerfully good in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think too, thinking about how we work and where we work and the manner in which we work all has to change as well. It's a complete paradigm change.
Oh, it's radically different. And I work with my business coach on like the 20%, the results in 80% of the
Mm-hmm.
actual net positive. Like what moves the needle? Like if
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about time at a screen, it is maybe project based. Maybe it's an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship of how many you sell a month
Mm-hmm.
or a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's we have to change the fiscals that match our new lives in that way
Mm-hmm.
when I can automate so many things that used to take weeks
Mm-hmm.
to do. So
Mm-hmm.
that efficiency change and kind of what jobs are. I keep seeing more and more like women's jobs are going to be impacted more. And I was like, will be. It's like already is in
Mm-hmm.
my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And, we just can't afford to be comfortable anymore. I mean, things are changing. It's here. There's no
Yeah.
denying it. So I think, like you said, addressing the fear, and realizing you're just going to have to change. But I think what's really exciting about it is there's really a lot more choice, I think, in us
Yes.
being able to design how we work and cultivate. We might need to work longer or in different ways and different projects and things like that. But I think it also offers us an opportunity to take time to go pick up our kids from school or, you know, um, take a break in the middle of the day or, different things that at one time where you were expected to sit in a seat from 8:30 to 5 or whatever, that was really not there.
Totally. And I see that optionality as a positive thing.
Right.
That your values of potentially being there for your kids or
Hmm.
taking care of your
Yeah.
body come
Hmm.
to the forefront more when you own your
Hmm.
schedule or your schedule doesn't look right sitting in a seat
Yeah.
so long. But that is a change. And some people will be like, wait a minute, COVID, like I don't want any more changes. Burnout is still very prevalent.
Hmm.
But I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
again, taking that action so that you are in the driver's seat to
Hmm.
know what your goals are. The subtitle of my book is Actions to Expand Your Career, Money, and Joy. Because if you just acknowledge the fear or like put your head in the sand, nothing's going to change. Or
Right.
things are changing around you and you'll be swept up in the windstorm.
Hmm.
It's taking that action, setting those goals, like, going to the event, uh,
Yeah.
unpacking your finances better, whatever the case may be, whatever those personal
Hmm.
things are for you.
Hmm.
There's nothing like doing the work.
Yeah. They have to be a lot more proactive. So you have a really interesting background that even includes linguistics. You have this technical background, you're an entrepreneur. Um, and so it helps you lead and communicate and create impact through technology. So how does that all kind of fit together? Because I think so many entrepreneurs just kind of look at like one singular thing or have like blinders on at what makes them good at what they do. But I think you have this really unique blend of things that come together and merge beautifully to create the impact you're having.
Oh, that's so kind. Well, I know I can look frenetic from the outside, but I'm working on streamlining. I I've had different evolutions in my career. You're right. I'm a linguist and a researcher by trade. That's my PhD in conversational AI. And I think what was helpful about my graduate studies was the requirement to read, think critically,
Hmm.
presenting, like going to conferences and presenting were requirements of not exactly requirements of my degree, but doing well in graduate school and my PhD. You
Hmm.
have to communicate your findings. You have to both do the work and present it to a broader audience. You got to package it up. You got to share your
Hmm.
story. You have to do the networking to find the research projects or get that tenure track job. This was
Hmm.
normalized in the world I was swimming in.
Yeah.
And I got into tech and they're like, whoa, you actually can present technical things to other people. And I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the differentiator. Like, okay. Um, but those skill sets, I think having a multifaceted skill set has
Hmm.
continued to serve me well. The joke I usually make is like technical skills get me in the door, but my quote unquote soft skills help me rise, get noticed by managers, kind of navigating the ranks. Although, whoa, once you get to those squirrely politics at the top, um, below a line, it's Care Bears, and above a certain line, it's Game of Thrones. And still not as good as the Game of Thrones as I could be. But I think even if someone isn't technical and listening to this, you probably have a superpower that you could
Right.
leverage and build those other skills that work for you.
Hmm.
And I'm really grateful to have lots of optionality of different paths because of my skill sets
Hmm.
that I put together. And these days, there's a flywheel of people knowing about me or experiencing
Hmm.
my brand is
Hmm.
how I get customers in the door.
Hmm.
Like by the time I'm speaking to a customer, he's listened to my podcast, he's consumed my social media. It's almost always a man, and like wants to be authentically respected. I work with
Hmm.
domain experts in their own thing. I
Hmm.
have my domain expertise, and arm in arm, we build really cool things together.
Yeah.
So I think and this has taken years. If anyone's listening to this, like, what?
Yeah.
This is across more than a decade of work to get to where I am today. So
Hmm.
I guess I practice what I preach. If we talk about that that network and that
Hmm.
personal branding and being in my own domain and being known
Hmm.
for my things, and more financial acumen has goodness served me well. But that it's very kind of you to frame it that way. Some people are just like,
Yeah.
Dawn is a frenetic ball, but it makes sense internally.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely love that story because time and time again, I think it's just natural for us to discount things that we're good at or
Mm.
are innate to us, especially as women. We don't count, our ability to be empathetic or communicate on a different level as a superpower, as you mentioned, and how much that can really be a game changer for us and differentiate ourselves and really put us in a position to be valuable to our clients, to our company. Um, and I think even myself included, completely discounted that. So I always like to take the opportunity to shed light on that. So you talked for a minute about money, so let's talk a little bit about that. And so your book promises to help people expand their money and joy in the age of AI. What's one underused mindset or strategy that you think is a game changer for women who want to stay relevant and financially free in the next era?
Yeah, I love this question. Abundance. I
Mm,
think so much of the time, I was at least taught, you know, be small or, lean is the goal, quiet, someone's going to take care of me. That's
right.
what I was taught since I was, 8 years old or whatever. But the abundance mindset to be able to make my own money, to be strong. I see women, like literally physically, I'm talking about strength, but women just 5, 10 years older than me at the gym. I'm like, whoa, being ripped is the goal. And I think that's the same in the financial space of I can be strong, I can have abundance, I can make more money. I talk about in my book when my graduate student stipend for teaching did not cover my rent and groceries, period. Like
Hmm.
I had so many room, like I was living so lean, and I was like, how do I do this? Like I have to eat. Like what, pedal to the metal. What am I going to do? I started tutoring on the side and
Hmm.
just bringing in a tiny bit more cash with a few
Hmm.
tutoring clients, covered my grocery bills, sleep better at night, right?
Hmm.
Like that $40 an hour or whatever I was charging, like transformed my life at that
Hmm.
juncture. And
Hmm.
so I'm not promising the reader like abundant wealth. I would love that. You can do the work
Right.
yourself, but can you bring in more money? The answer is going to be yes.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. So I think I also call it like the power of yet. I haven't done it before. You haven't done it yet. You
Hmm.
haven't sold that thing. You haven't brought in more money right now. Okay. But
Hmm.
yet this like abundant potential that all of your listeners have is there for us. And we just have to counteract these narratives that we've been fed for so long.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I don't know, I was going to ask you, how do you see abundance? Because that's kind of a catchy word. And I love that you added abundant potential. I don't think we've ever talked about that on the podcast in quite that way. I love that idea.
Oh yeah, well I talked to I just gave a workshop recently and people in the like the fear we're talking
Yeah.
about, like people
Hmm.
walked in with like, ah, I'm scared vibes. And I was like,
Right.
here is how I have built wealth very clearly. I am not a registered anything. Take it for what you wish, right? My lawyer would make
Hmm.
sure disclaimer, disclaimer, but like with the support of my mentors and getting way more acumen in that domain, I have built more wealth for myself and
Hmm.
my family. And
Hmm.
that has been amazing. It feels great. And anyone can do it.
Hmm.
And I came from a family where like you don't talk, you make money and you shut up about it. My parents were
Hmm.
trying their best, like most parents are. That did not set me up well,
Yeah.
just didn't. And so like the potential to learn and grow, and I will I have already made money mistakes. I'm sure I'll make a few along the way, but there's potential. Like I have
Hmm.
abundance. Like I believe in what I'm doing and how that can scale.
I love that. And so I was going to ask you too, I think the abundance of opportunities you've seen for yourself because you've been named as, number 4 voice and AI influencer, and you've held VP roles in Fortune 500 companies, but you've chosen to go your own way and not taken the typical route of success. So, what has kind of helped you go your own way and not taking that traditional route?
Yeah, the traditional route keeps calling, doesn't it? Uh, I mean, I'll say a lot of people in my family would love me to go back to a very traditional job where my sister complains, I don't know how to communicate what you do when people ask. I'm like, these multi-hyphenate, right? It can be confusing. I'm not really interested in going back to the 60-hour a week grind and for a specific dollar sign. Like right now, there's so much upside. Like the more different projects I do and sell, I can continue making more money. There's no golden handcuffs or like, outside of work, the restrictions, blah, blah, blah. I also will
Mhm.
say like my own mental and physical health has really shifted. I used to be terrified of missing a Slack notification from a boss or someone above me. There's like, you must respond in 2 minutes, freneticism all
Mhm.
day and into the evenings. Like I do not miss that cortisol snap every time.
Yeah.
And if someone is experiencing that, I'm so sorry for you. It is real, it is painful,
Yeah.
but to take care of my mental and physical health
Hmm.
better and make money is more in alignment with my goals and my values. Kind of back to that transformation of there are different options on the table as these
Hmm.
changes happen in our society. And I've chosen to be like, yes, I'm jumping into that and yeah, closing contracts, like scaling the things. So
Yeah.
the traditional path can't offer me some of the things I'm talking about.
Right. Well, reflecting that back to you, what I'm hearing is the traditional path didn't offer you the mental health and wellness that you're experiencing right now, the wealth and abundance, the fulfillment. That seems like those are pretty attractive things that people think are elusive for them. So I think it's so important to have these conversations to say, no, it's absolutely possible.
It is, and I'm not saying it's not hard. Like if I
Right.
magically said like tomorrow
Yeah.
it's all the top for you, fine. But that it is possible, and then you can build it and be strong instead of fearful and weak. It
Hmm.
is it is absolutely possible, and
Yeah.
wouldn't be remiss to mention that my book can step you through it. So,
Right.
amongst other many, many resources, but it's
I
possible.
love that. So many of the mom entrepreneurs listening are raising the next generation. And what advice do you offer them who want to raise their insights and the visibility of their children in this new era that we're living in? So, what advice can you offer them as they're helping to raise the next generation that's going to be stepping into this era?
I love this question, Angela, because I literally get DMs from high schoolers these days.
Yeah,
And I get DMs from parents. Actually, a lot of dads consume my content. Who knew?
I love
But I've
that.
got a post of like, I'm at my daughter's soccer game reading your book
I
type of
love that.
amazing. And because I think a lot of us are scared about the next generation. Uh-oh, are they always going to be living at home? Will they be able to find their next job? This is the type of message I get, at least. I don't know if your audience is thinking about that. The skill set that we teach in school and the job market and what actually brings you money and stability right now are completely divorced. And that doesn't set people up well. So it's really hard to make a pan recommendation to anybody. The two things I would strongly recommend, at least first, I work in AI, so this may sound counterintuitive, but to really consider mostly AI proof job sectors these days.
Hmm.
I'm talking about plumbing, HVAC, electrician, some of these carpentry. Um, I have I know people in those sectors who are making hand over fist, did not need to get a college degree, and those jobs will be some of the last automated by robotics.
Hmm.
My contractor I paid him to build our fence, and he could charge basically whatever he wanted because
Hmm.
there's so much demand. Everyone else is going to tech, right? Everyone turns right, and you pivot
Hmm.
left. He can work with whoever he wants, charges whatever he wants, has a different
Hmm.
lifestyle. So if you are at a juncture where your kid is like, I'd like to use my hands more. My cousin is one of those people, hated school, right?
Hmm.
Strongly recommend that they apprentice or try out different things that could be lucrative in that sort of left plan.
Yeah.
And then I think really boot camps or trying things out, prototyping. I've heard this phrase like try to get your kid to get B pluses in school. Like if the traditional, have you heard this phrase? Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just nodding for those who aren't listening this to this on video because my daughter just graduated high school. And so I've been running interference for years going, B's are fine. We don't need to be on the honor roll. This is not what's going to serve you in the future. Here's what's going to be serving you in the future. Here's how you make yourself valuable. So yes, I
But
am nodding.
right? Like these are different hurdles at different points in your life than what you may have experienced yourself.
Yeah.
So we're all trying to adapt and support the young people in our lives. And I have tons of cousins 15 years younger than me. So I'm always
Hmm.
thinking what they're navigating. And um, I will admit that they definitely got my book. But I think it's a different market. And knowing that those things are divorced, it's okay.
Right.
And I think being able to step outside that box, if
Hmm.
you can and I think, Angela, if I could just, to any of those moms out there, like supporting your kid in those
Yes.
alternate paths, I've gotten a lot of negative pushback from my family that didn't serve. Instead of like, okay, Joan, we could support you, test out those waters, right? That stability, I'm guessing your kid would love in however they're prototyping those next steps. So if I could just send that out into the world of things that I didn't
Right.
necessarily get my
Yes, definitely resist pushing your child to enter a program at a university that's going to somehow give you some more credibility or something is going to let you brag on social media. Resist that. Like it is totally fine if they don't know what to do or if they want to enroll in a local community college program or a technical school or whatever it is. And so I see that so much like this pressure to, enroll in a program that's going to be impressive to other people, regardless of your desires.
And even I like hear this from an influencer whose socials get consumed by thousands of people online. I know this podcast is well received, but like I feel in the social eye, what's external and what's
Yeah,
going on internally,
right.
again, completely divorced. And
100%.
a lot of it's a game. So taking care of your mental and physical health, but
Right.
supporting your kid. And yeah, are they going to be saddled with 6 figures of debt for a degree that isn't relevant? It's hard for me to justify
Right.
that to a kid or a parent
Yeah.
um, and so they're caretakers. So preparing your kid for the skill sets now, the ones that
Hmm.
are pertinent today, boot camps, small things, three
Right.
to 6 months of just trying things with Hugging Face. I mean, so many is just like the stuff is so democratized. Literally, in my graduate studies, we didn't have these things like back in 2015,
Hmm.
didn't exist as something I could play with
Right.
online.
Yeah.
Today, it's like free online with Wi-Fi and a computer. So
Yeah.
try it out, please.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's a completely different world than the late 90s when I was graduating from college. And I mean, but I love that listeners have resources like your book. Um, so for busy moms who are building a business, what does a practical, empowering roadmap look like today? And where do you recommend that they start, other than the things you've already recommended?
Yeah. Well, actually, one of my close friends is a mom of four, Angela. So I totally get, I mean, she's always like leaving me voice notes from like driving kids to practices and
Yeah.
stuff. The number one thing that at least I didn't do as well as I could have in my big ups and downs is prioritizing my physical and mental health. I know I've mentioned this before, but if you are pushing yourself to go to those networking things, but you are bedraggled, you are fearful, like the way I showed up wasn't necessarily presenting myself well to actually meet the stakeholder
Mm,
that could help me propel my career. So if you're not stable and taking care of yourself, or just I know sometimes moms put themselves last to help their kids. I totally get it. It's a hard world out there, but I usually joke like I go to therapy, I work out, I sleep, I eat vegetables. I'm a dog mom. I'm not a kid mom. But if I'm not taking care of myself, almost very little else moves forward. So that's the thing. And then I would say, if she is driving carpool, maybe they're literally listening right now, or like in the car vibes. I will say my book has an audiobook.
mhm,
Um, and so or at least I walk with my dog all the time, and most of the material I consume is via audio. So
mhm.
I literally read like listen to chapter 9. I think it's
Yeah.
like 10 minutes long. Is it,
Mhm.
if nothing
I love
else.
that. That's wonderful. So, if you could leave every woman listening right now with one powerful truth about the future of their career, what would it be?
Oh, I'm so ready for this. Um, like, dear listener, you have so much potential. Like we mentioned this earlier about like
Yeah.
this abundant potential. You may be feeling sad, you may be feeling just, scarcity, all that. But I'm here to tell you a very, very true truth that like I'm so excited for you. You're listening to this podcast with me
Mm,
and Angela. Like it is very possible for you. Like you can take the actions, but like this, if you're in a hard, sad place right now, that is not what the next 5 to 10 years need to look like for you.
mhm.
Like I would love to hold space. Like
Yeah.
there's such potential. Like let's go do
Yeah.
it. Like I'm so excited for you. So if those vibes can be packaged up, that's what I'm sending out.
I love that. And I think my listeners, even if they might be having the off day or not the best, they definitely have a growth mindset. I think you've got to, so give yourself credit for that, for listening to this, especially all the way to this point. Um, well, you have definitely showed up well today. Thank you so much for adding to the conversation. It's so relevant. It's so what we need to be talking about right now. So I really just am honored to be able to shine a light on your book and what you're doing, and just being an example for so many, giving us permission. So thank you for that. And I know listeners are going to want to get their hands on your AI roadmap. And where can they do that? Where can they follow your work and be connected and continue to learn from you?
Thank you. Well, you're going to get me teary-eyed, Angela.
Oh,
I'm just so grateful to be able to give back. Um, you can find the book, Your AI Roadmap, on yourairoadmap.com. It's got more info about it, nuts and bolts. You can get it on Amazon. The audiobook is also, you can buy it on Amazon. You can also try to get it from your library if you request it on Libby. Some people, yeah,
yeah.
if you request it, you might get it for free that way. So I strongly recommend that. My biggest socials are on LinkedIn. So if you need more professional nudge to be on there, my name is extremely unusual, so it's hard to miss, Joan Palmiter Bajorek. But I agree with you, Angela. If you listened this far,
Hmm.
hopefully we're on the same page. Growth mindset, constructive feedback, learning and growing in this data-driven, things are changing under our feet. So
Hmm.
like this ability to be resilient and take action, like I yeah, if you listen this far, like, heck yeah. Um, but yeah, I'd love to be connected on socials and the book. I make quote unquote less than $3 per book. So it truly is about giving back for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's digital. Anyway, the book is out there, Your AI Roadmap.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave links to all of that in the show notes below. It's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for having me here. It's great to
Yeah,
talk.
pleasure.